None of this is anybody else's fault but Daniel, Janie, and Malaya. And even you can make a claim and make a defense and an argument for the ill treatment of Malaya through this entire time. But it's not going to stand up against all of the other things she has working against her at this point. And at some level, she's going to have to be accountable in the law's eyes. If you make the investigators in the Crown do 100% of the legwork only to find out that you've been fucking them over this entire time, like you guys have been, they're going to make it the max. If you've got to put the law, that goes for anybody with any crime. If you make them do it the hard way, you're going to be facing the max with probably no chance of any sort of deal to be made, no claim. You come in and you come forward with what happened and what it is that you know, and talk in great detail about what it is you suspect at this point in time to the RCMP. That's going to be Malaya's saving grace if that does happen. That's just how it works. It looks like they're making him do it the hard way. Like, good God, you can't, for Daniel and Janie couldn't look any more guilty of bringing harm to these children in this circumstance. And I made a firm standing on something recently, which is the substances. I keep seeing this pop up. And the people that want to cop out in their mind and think that, oh, Jack and Lily just got themselves into all of these illicit substances and passed away, and then they just went and hid the bodies. You need your head examined. The only way that the kids would get substances inside of them is if Daniel or Malaya was giving it to them on purpose and intentionally overdosed them, which is a completely different thing from what people keep wanting to claim as an accident. This is a minimization of something that these fucking idiots are going to great lengths and then some to cover up. You don't do that. You don't go and proceed to commit 2-3 more felonies on top of the felony or the crime that you had just committed. You don't go and worsen the situation by doing that. You have to deal with a medical emergency. It would be a different outcome. It wouldn't have the need to cover up. And these morons are far too calculated to do such a stupid thing. No, the harm was brought to these children by Daniel. That's why he's out here desperately begging people to believe him and his mom and this fucking stupid story that they've told the RCMP and the CBC. And it's not just about a he said, she said. When it comes down to the story, it goes a lot. It's not the story. The stories that they came out with is just so stupid and short and garbage. It's everything else that encompasses this would direct you to suspect that they did have something to do with it. Also known as being guilty AF. He is the dumbest individual I've ever met, Debbie Satterfield. I blame Darin Geddes for a lot of this. He comes on the way he talked around corners and sent out subtle threats to keep people's mouths shut. Oh, he still does that. He does that each and every day, all day. You can hear it in what people talk about in the background. Doesn't do it over here. It doesn't work. What a little bitch. Rent-free, Derwood. Darin Geddes, you idiot. Nothing that this idiot says he's done nothing but lie to each and every one of you every step of the way, and you still consider the things that you listen to come out of his mouth as truth and not. You've got to learn to shut it out. You guys know this. Fucking guy, though. Anita Benita. Will, in my opinion, Wade, Cindy, and all of MBM's family have to be thinking what we're thinking, and there's no way I could live with that knowledge knowing that the kids are nowhere to be found. Just saying, no. Listen, it's not like that. She's an adult. She's an adult, but you can only lead a horse to water. You can't force the person to say things. But what I'm saying is, Cindy she knew to go above and beyond in that moment and take control over Malaya, and she should do it again right now. Basically, what she's saying is as it stands right now, in my mind, I believe Cindy knows exactly. Well, let me rephrase that. The story that Malaya gave the CTV News sounds like that. We know what Malaya told the RCMP and the paperwork and things like that. She knows that story's fucking nonsensical. She's not probing her. She's her mom, right? She's trying to protect her away from all of the craziness at this point in time. But she's closed herself off to the RCMP. There's no way. She could have this son of a bitch locked up. But again, this is just me out here talking. There's a lot more that the investigators have to consider if they want to, well, and they do. There's a lot more they have to consider taking it. Like, they want to build rapport with these individuals. They don't necessarily have the power or the information to say fuck you and go around. They have to do it slow and methodical. All right, so they don't have the option really to carry out. You know, how many times during the day do we want to say fuck them at our desks? You know, you can't exactly do that. It wouldn't be professional. Most of what I'm saying up here is not professional. It throws all that rapport building out the window, and it sounds like a 1930s, a prohibition cop or something in Chicago. 20s, I guess, would be. But I trust the RCMP are doing it the right way. And when I say that, I'm not questioning their investigative techniques. They can apply whatever method that they want, that they see fit. It's not my problem. I'm skipping past all of that. I'm trying to make these little talks appeal to even the RCMP so that out there in the cold they have something to listen to. It's not going to be too cringe-worthy or boring. I don't believe Cindy is interested in bringing justice, or as interested as I am. I figure that she just wants to get on with her life and deal with things, and that's heartbreaking. You know, it's not like at some point we all have to do that, like it or not. Unless you're Kent or anybody else who's invested in spreading the awareness about them and collecting all kinds of donos and all kinds of money for this, that, and the other thing. You fucking scumbag. That deserves a beating. And we're assuming everything is all right between them at this point in time, and I don't think it is. They're not together. Like, what exactly is Cindy going to do to influence Malaya? Malaya's not with Cindy. Cindy and Wade are away from Malaya. That didn't last very long. It didn't last long because they're probably more like-minded than we know about. Like, Wade seems to be right on, and I don't think Wade is going to be too far off of the opinion of Cindy. Cindy wants to protect her daughter. That's probably as much as she can do, and just leaving it alone, not meddling in her business, not furthering, destroying, or deteriorating their relationship. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that there, Roseanne. The only two reasons MBM doesn't speak is she's scared of DM and the family and the rug community. Doubt it. At one time, that was correct. That's not applicable at this point in time. It's not applicable because we're talking about the people that can protect her from any harm as much as they can. They can relocate her. You want to testify? You want to testify against Daniel and whatever happened? Well, you're going to have to fill us in on the rest of the information there. Yeah, well, she's definitely involved with what happened. But what do you mean by that, Roseanne? It's a generalization. Regardless, she fought for full custody with support and paired with DM having Meadow, in your opinion. I don't know what that end part's supposed to really mean. You have to make the point, not me for you. Anita, Benita, Julia, yes, she didn't even say their names either. That should have been the first thing. And, oh, by the way, this rhetoric that... Fuck, I was over listening to Wolfie for like 5 minutes, and I scrolled through it, and Wolfie, you're sitting there talking about this rhetoric about the only thing that's important is finding Jack and Lily. No, it's not. That's fucking rhetoric, and if you're married to this rhetoric, then you're just using that as leverage against a bunch of sympathetic ears. It's interesting that Shannon had to straighten you out yesterday in your chat. She is certain that you are not really what or who you say you are. I wonder about that. We've been calling that out for a while, ever since that you started sending these wishy-washy, weird, over, going nowhere messages to everybody in the background. You walk around and pretend that you have all of this information, but none of the information that you have is any different than everybody else. You're acting like you're Derwood, Wolfie. Nobody cares that somebody said, like the things that you brought up, your little attempts to try to create and stir drama are so bizarre. You're hanging around this Daylene broad. She's a fucking sketchy bitch and a liar. That whole crowd and circle that lingers up there in Facebook, that hangs around Kent and Derwood, that claims to be really incorporated in with this Jack and Lily case, are fucking sketch. All right? And I told you I wasn't interested in any of the fucking information that you've ever given me. Okay? It's like you want to be in the flow and in control of what people say out here, and it makes you feel good at the end of the day. That's why I told you to start your own fucking channel. Everybody else out there in this live chat needs to start their own channel too. That's why we're here in the first place. You want to communicate with other creators? Communicate like I'm communicating with you right now. All right? That's the best way, right in front of 200, 300, 1,000 people in your live chat. There's no better way to communicate with somebody else than that on YouTube. This guy sends messages that first of all are a huge waste of time in reading. I never even bother reading them. I just delete the fucking things. Then he comes back 15, 20 minutes later and comes and says the exact fucking opposite thing he just said in the first email, and then tells you not to fucking talk about any of the things that he was in your email inbox about. And he does this over and over and over and over and over and over again. What exactly are you interested in? Like, what is it that you want? When you send somebody a message, I don't go past a sentence. There's a reason I'm sending a message to somebody. What is yours? Most of the time, what it is you take advantage of people's patience, because you don't know. Some people don't know any different and are lonely, right? Some people, 99% of the people that contact you are doing it for reasons that are far beyond what it is that they're approaching you about in the email. Scam emails. People that you don't know that have all kinds of rando fucking names. I just spent 3 fucking hours online talking about it. The last thing I want to do is go back in my email inbox and talk about it with some fucking person. Okay? Is there something that you have? Like, in these circumstances when children go missing in that sense, there is a brief period in time where everything's on the table. Okay? But that period comes and goes. And then people still stick around and keep sending and try to be all important, sharing information here and there as though that's actually useful. Who the fuck cares? I don't need to ask you to hit that thumbs up. I don't need you to ask you to come and subscribe. You're going to do that regardless if you find the content interesting or not. I don't have to ask you for any fucking favors. All in the name of Jack and Lily and spreading awareness. All you're getting done is being sold at timeshare by these fucking morons. Trying to put a positive spin on child red rum and the things that we're talking about is a constant problem. Because they all want to claim that, oh, we're just bringing the conversation out in the open and talking about everything in each different fucking way. If you can't find your kids within 5 fucking minutes, there's something else that's up. You ever not seen your kids for 30 seconds? Yeah, you probably go back into the back room. Why didn't? Where are they now? Where are they now? No, there's something else up with this. I wasn't talking about you, babe. I didn't know you were standing there. The bullshit from Daniel is all about them keeping face within the family and their community and their little side world back there. Anybody, whether they live in Nova Scotia or not, can see that these fuckers are guilty of lying to us, leading us down these paths that go nowhere, they talk in circles. They don't want to be accountable, nor do they even sound like that. An airhead, believe anything, you're going to get yourself a little bit of a side piece. You guys couldn't even just have protected sex and get it over with and go back to your normal lives. No, you had to carry on and really want to soak in this new life, because Daniel, think about how awesome his life and his lifestyle just like it would have been a change in Daniel's lifestyle in that sense. So, and it would only be a benefit to him. It would not be a benefit to Malaya in that sense. He is a drain on, well, Patty's residence. Like there are costs associated to living in the residence, and I know that old Danny boy wasn't paying anything. He got to stay high all the time, got to have sex all the time, and go on about his business and do whatever that he was. What was Malaya actually really needing a man for? She wanted to have a perfect life in that sense. She wanted a handsome dude that's hardworking, supportive of her and the children, the kids. The kids were never, ever treated as a priority, even since they were at Patty's. They're always just things that you dealt with along the way. Priority number 2 or 3. Four, probably even 6 or 7th, because you have to. The priority for Daniel was his substances. That was number 1. That's above and beyond everything, and everything else comes next. Second would have been Daniel. Explore course shenanigans. I agree completely. What are you guys talking about? Unfortunately, it took others too long to catch on, even after many said they did not receive their signs or bracelets. What a scumbag. Listen, let me be Osama bin Laden, Barack Obama, crystal clear for you. It has nothing to do with unethical practices and taking money and whether or not people got what it is that they sent him money for. It's the doing it in the first place. It's unethical. It's immoral to be selling anything like that on the back of spreading that term that Daphne pulled on me a few minutes ago. It's in the name of spreading awareness, and it's so important that you do this and that. That's part of the con, the scam, the grift. And psychics, it's the same fucking thing. Okay, whether you're over there pulling bullshit tarot cards, that's another manipulation on a greater audience, and you wanted to associate magical thinking with and mystery to questions that you're bringing up and discussing in relation to a case like this. The more time goes on, the more sure that you should be in what the hell is happening. Not less. Not even more confused or unclear. If you feel that way, it's because you're being lied to. It's crystal clear what happened here with Jack and Lily. Regulators, saddle up. Patty kicked Daniel out. She wanted MBM and the kids to stay, Brandy says. And that's in your opinion. I agree. I'm not picking on you, Daphne. We need to get away from using that term. People want to use that term and lump it in there with things that they themselves or they feel that they're doing. There's too much of that going on. You don't have to be ashamed for getting up here and wanting to talk about this particular case because they need support. And I mean Jack and Lily. You don't have to associate it, calling it spreading awareness. You don't have to associate anything else. You don't have to have people make you feel bad or question what it is that you're up here questioning. You go far beyond that. I do. You go way beyond that. I'm still like, this is a no-brainer. But again, everybody, the argument isn't if it was a no-brainer, they would already be in jail. That's flawed logic, friends. Don't listen to that nonsense. Don't even consider it. Again, take a look and recognize this situation with Jack and Lily for what it is and the way that a responding officer, no matter what police force anywhere, deals with a case. You know why you're here, know why you're speaking. You know who you're speaking to. You won't get fucked with. Well, you can get fucked with, but it'll be pointless for the other people. It won't bother you. Explore course shenanigans I caught on soon after because I could not understand why we were hearing from this man who claimed to not know any of them and this other relative of Malaya's could not spell Micmac. One second.
The interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place. And to show people that this is what happened. All the stuff that people, all the rumors and accusations about us murdering the kids and burying them on the property, this place has been searched thoroughly. The well has been checked, the septic tank, all the barns were searched. My RV was searched 3 times. The trailer was searched. This whole place
been searched 3 times. It comes down to the responding officer and how police paint a picture of what happened with all of the information that they investigate with that tells the story in order to base their decisions on. Not anything that we say, whether it's honest, whether it's genuine, doesn't matter. It's not based off of anything that we discuss. It's based on their own investigation. And in this circumstance, it's going to take a while because they have to go about getting the information in secondary ways. It's being made that way for them. It's not the first time. It just takes a little bit, and it's only 8 months. So people want to jump the gun in their minds, and I don't blame them. I just need to mention it to bring calm to your mind. They searched your RV 3 times, Janie, because they don't believe you. Well, for all kinds of things. All kinds of reasons. And it usually probably, I think, in my opinion, would have to do with forensics. They'd be just taking swabs and pulling samples here and there. Who knows why? Like, there could be all kinds of reasons. Oh, Ilyanka. Her voice isn't that bad, is it? Just show people, yeah, once she realized they weren't finding the kids after weeks, she does the CBC interview. Most people would do it right away. Oh, wow, yeah, this is her confident that the police aren't just going to up and throw her in the back of the cruiser if she talks at this point. She's comfortable enough at this point to come out. You guys been here, you don't see them. Now it's time to move on, get the hell out of here. But there's all kinds of other things psychologically going on with her that are interesting. And, none of it really has to do with the shit that comes out of her mouth. Why does she have to do this again in the first place? What's their priority? After you digest it for a while, the priority and the only thing she needs to change is all of our suspicions. They don't want, she and Daniel don't want all of these people thinking that they're involved in the this and the it, the that, and the things that they won't commit to linguistically. They want to avoid at all costs the 2 most important and publicly open questions attached to any beginner investigator's notebook. And that's, what do you think happened to Jack and Lily? And what do you think should happen to the person responsible with whatever happened to Jack and Lily? Those questions right there, they avoid at all costs. Oh, that's why that video that I just uploaded, that was a surprise because it was close. It was a close one where Janie kind of referenced it. So her kind of reference was her actually acknowledging that really probably what's occurred. It was a real juicy piece of leakage. They weren't involved in the disappearing. They weren't involved in whatever else happened. She was trying to stay away. She was tiptoeing, verbally, linguistically. You're saying, I'm not saying anything to me, facts versus myths. What are you talking about? A New Brunswick rug dealer is now involved with a rug dealing group in Pictou County. Now, by the way, yeah, have screenshots as proof. What do you fucking buy grams off the guy or what? What does that have to do with anything, though? You can maintain a meth addiction and not be involved in any groups or buy it on the street. You can make it shake and bake in your bathroom whenever you want, right? And the recipe's readily available on places like 4chan. So you see a lot of people who aren't familiar with the substances often want to use it as a cop-out in a time in a situation where they just can't or are tired of thinking any farther. They're not fucking involved to any degree with any sort of organization that has money at the end of it. Okay? Because they live with nothing. They're thieves. They steal. They're lazy fucks. Okay? They're the scum of the earth in that sense. They don't want to make an effort. They don't want to do anything. Organizations are like work, a business. They demand some sort of motivation on parts of the participants. It would probably be against any club's rules to wear the same shit day in and day out. Daniel's already breaking a rule. He's looking like shit all the time. Acting like shit. No. It's not like that. Not to mention the guy's just a straight out user. It's all of these stereotypes people need to detach from. It's lazy thinking. The answers are already right in front of you and you're not satisfied or confident in why it is that you think a certain way to begin with, to identify it when you're there. And that's what appeals to people who have a lot of bullshit to spread. That means you never stop thinking. You're just constantly eating and taking in whatever's fed to you. That's what Derwood loves. There would be no such thing as a conversation with Derwood, because it would never get past the first fucking thing. And it's nonstop with that asshole. As soon as there's a first contradiction and we can't get past it or clarified, there's no reason to go on. And here this fucking asshole is hours and hours and engaged in nonstop, just straight disinforming, coming across as though he has all of this pertinent information. We don't need any inside information, any magic people to drop shit out of the sky to give us any insider fucking knowledge about anything. We already know enough. We know what happened. Anything past the point of recognizing that Daniel is responsible, and they're at this point from the public's eye so obviously responsible that they're out here lying. The only reason for these individuals to be lying at all is because they're protecting themselves from prosecution. They are done something. They did the this, they did the that, they did the thing that they're unwilling to commit linguistically to. That's what makes it a no-brainer. Anything above and beyond that, your mind can almost stop working at that point if you wish.